So here's a keyboard that I got a while back. It's the Razer BlackWidow Ultimate keyboard. This is a mechanical keyboard back when they used to use the Cherry MX switches instead of the Razer gaming switches that they use today. This one is a Cherry MX blue switch keyboard with the blue backlighting. So when I got this, it was really heavily used and dirty, scratched up with dust and food on the insides. And also since then, one of the LEDs have unfortunately died. So what I thought I'd do is fix the whole thing up, change a few things and make it look better. So this is the plan that I quickly wrote up for the keyboard mod log. It's in 3 main parts, which are going to be 1 week apart from each other, because I don't have some of the materials and tools to do these other things. So first up, we have to clean the keyboard, then sand the exterior shell and prime it, keycap repair, possibly a keycap dye, the LED replacement. I'm not sure about the other LEDs, I might change the colors on that, and then finally we have the exterior paint and finish, and then we'll have the keyboard overview at the end. So before making this video, I actually already started doing the first things on the plan that I wrote up. So as you can see, the top shell of the keyboard has already been sanded and primed. So previously this used to be gloss black, which is probably the worst surface color you can give a keyboard since it attracts so much dust and fingerprints. And this has already been primed in grey, and later on will be finished in a different color, which I'm not sure what color to do yet. And here's the keyboard itself, with the keycaps off, of course. It did come with the keycaps. So you can see it's the Cherry MX blue switches, so nice and clicky. And before it was really dirty and dusty, had food, dust, hair, just everywhere. Really was stuck, had to really clean all that stuff off. Since then it's gathered a bit of dust, but overall it's pretty clean. So let's plug this in and check out the light. So this is it, lit up in its blue light. As you can see, this is the switch in question. I believe this is the, what is this, U or Y? Probably U key. And it's flickering right now. Most of the time it's off. Sometimes it will stay on for a while. But yep, it's in the middle, so it really has to be replaced. I'm not sure if I'm just gonna use a blue LED or switch up some of these to change the whole thing. But yeah, so that's the keyboard itself. Another problem with the keyboard are the keycaps themselves. So over time, obviously the previous owner has been using it a lot, and the oils from his hands will eventually damage the surface finish of the keycap. So I don't know if you can see that, but it is quite shiny, and this is just the oils penetrating that top surface finish of the keycap, which is the black finish. This is in comparison to other less used keys like this one, which has a more matte or satin finish to it. This is since the oil hasn't degraded the surface on top. And so this can't be washed with as water or soapy liquid or any sort of spirits, since it is the finish itself and not the key material itself. So what I thought I'd do is, if you have a look here, the keycap is actually white, and that black finish is just over the white keycap itself. So what I thought I'd do is just sand all of these keycaps to its white, original white finish that it has. Of course this will get rid of all this labeling and numbers and letters, but it gives me also a lot of other options. Since it is white, it can be dyed to any other color. So a white plastic can be dyed to any other color, since it's at the bottom of the spectrum, in comparison to a black plastic, which can't be dyed anything except for black, of course. So yep. So here's the keycap in its stock form, and here's what I've been doing to the keycaps. So as you can see, I started the sanding process. It still has some of the black finish on it, but it does take a while because I don't have a sander like a a belt sander or a linisher to help me sand these. So right now I have to sand them by hand, which will take a while individually, and to put into a smooth finish as well. So as you can see, it's a nice clean white, and that does give me the option of dyeing, as I said earlier. So what I'm not sure on is how the LED lights will react to a dyed plastic. I don't have too much experience with dyeing plastic, so I'm not really sure if the light will shine through, say if I dye it yellow or blue or green or some other color. So I'm not really sure on that, but we'll just have to see. I may keep it white and do an all white keyboard with white LEDs and a white frame, but I'm still not really sure on what to do. First of all, sorry for the shakiness, but I have to record this by hand, so please bear with me. So these are all the keycaps that I have to sand individually. So that's my process for now, since I don't have any machines for this. So I have to sand them by hand individually. So over here I have my sandpaper. So I'll probably like to start with something a bit rough. So what's this, 600? I'll have one of those. What's this, 800? I'll use some of that as well. 360 is pretty good. It's somewhat rough. I don't know what this is, but it feels like 240, so this will probably be a good starting point. And over here I have my soapy water, which I'll need to use for the wet sanding process that I have to sand the keycaps, so it has a better finish and much easier to do. There's no easy way around it, so what I've got to do is sand these keycaps. So what I'm using right now is probably a 240 grit wet dry sandpaper. So just dunk it in the soapy water and sand until it becomes white. So from what I can see now, this sandpaper is probably not rough enough for the initial sanding, since it is taking a while sand it off. Yep, that is taking a while. I cannot do that for every single key. So let me just change up the sandpaper and I'll be back. So apparently this is all the sandpaper I have, and none of this is really rough enough to make this easier. So I'll have to end the video here, and on the next part all these keycaps will be done and I'll just show them then. So if anyone has any ideas on dyeing the keycaps, or I don't know, keycap layout as in different colored dyes for a pattern or something, also any ideas on what to do with the LEDs. I might have different sections with different colored LEDs, so I'm not really sure as of now. But for now, that's all I can do.